Welcome, everyone, and thank you all for coming. I'm Jasmine Chalana from Vancouver, Canada. Anyone here not know where Vancouver is? I get this question a lot, like, where is that? So, if those who don't know, it's just 100 miles north of Seattle. That's the best way I put it. We're in the Pacific Northwest. So today, I just want to talk about how you can monetize various ways you can monetize academic structures. There's opportunities in engagement, retention, and recruitment. And there's also a lot of guest speaker opportunities. And I'm going to talk about some recommendation at the end. Just about BCIT, we have about 4 campuses in the Vancouver region. We have a very strong student body, and we are getting quite serious with our streaming initiatives. So we're doing a lot more and more of streaming, not just live lectures, but also a lot of video on demand. So everything from convocations to town halls of the executives to various conferences, and a lot of information sessions that the program areas put on to attract new students. So why are we talking about this today? Video is becoming more and more used in various contexts in the academia. If you look around, not just in on the education side, but also on the governance side, people want to get their message out, and the video is one way to sort of attract more audiences, get the message out. There's always a complaint in the academia that there's not enough communication, and we are finding that our executives, especially BCIT, they're trying to sort of reach out to the community via the use of video. They're trying to sort of present their messages, be it their 5-year plan, be it like some small plan. They want to be able to sort of not only have it live streamed, but have it available later on, and also be posted in the discussion area where people can actually go and comment on it afterwards. So that, I think, it definitely shows that the commitment some schools are showing. And obviously the education side is growing like exponentially. Anywhere from lectures to specialized videos. We're finding more and more faculty are wanting to sort of add it as part of their courses, as part of their outline. And some faculty are even reaching out to students and having them create videos and having them sort of upload assignments in part of like a video format kind of thing. And that also adds a bit of a fun to the environment. It also gives them a bit more novelty, as opposed to just writing like papers and doing like other presentations. The other reason is a lot of students are also looking for programs anywhere in the world. I mean, for myself, like I did my first bachelor's at BCIT, and then went on to doing my master's at University of Illinois, and then my MBA at University of Manchester. It was all because I wanted the best program, I wanted the best education, I wanted the best cost, I wanted the best experience, and a lot of students who were studying with me were in the same kind of boat. They all wanted more out of their value, more of their dollars and their investment. So you're going to see more and more students looking for program across boundaries. So they aren't going to be limited just by sitting in one region of a world and wanting to study. So and the opportunities are instead of having them come across here and study, and you can easily deliver education by video. And we're finding that more and more universities are sort of exporting their brand to various countries, exporting their faculty to the countries where it's harder for students to come across. There was a study done by Cisco which sort of highlighted these things. I mean, you have to sort of export, knowledge, and people are hungry for knowledge. Learning is one activity that's not going to go away anytime soon. People want to learn. People want to sort of, gain new skills. And video is one way that allows you to do that quickly and more effectively. A faculty can sort of reach out to students in remote areas or students who are not able to sort of come on campus for whatever reasons they have. You can also sort of not only export your brand, but also going to import, ideas from far and abroad. We're also noticing that at BCIT that there's a lot of guest speakers that normally that were not can come on campus. They're now being brought in via video conferencing or other technology, so that they can give a guest lecture or give sort of like a guest lecture on some particular topic. When I was doing my master's at the University of Illinois, I was in a course called Information Architecture, and in that course, the faculty was based in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we were in Illinois. At that time in 2004, 2005, there wasn't a lot of live streaming video, but there was live streaming audio. So we were able to sort of, hear her lecture once a week for about a couple of hours. And she also brought in like guest speakers in the field, including the author of the textbook that she provided us. So that was good. So it was good to hear that level of expertise coming into the room. I think that's where students want to find value nowadays. They want to learn from the experts, not just people having like a lot of education, but also people having a lot of experience in the field. And I think that is the key these days. I don't know about you all, but I always hated buying textbooks. I was never a big fan of reading them. I was never a big fan of buying them. And I couldn't wait to sort of get rid of them once the course was over. So if you can find synergies, if you can find if you can sort of eliminate that cost, I think you're going to make students happy. They're going to be more engaged. They're going to be more satisfied with their efforts. If you can get faculty to record fact-based material beforehand, for example, the stuff that they repeat every year anyway, instead of having them repeat that again and again and having them to prepare for it, you can get them to sort of record that and then ask students to review that before coming to class, and so that you can use the class time more effectively, and you can use that class time to engage in other content, and that way you also sort of eliminating time from the faculty side of things, so they can free up. So now their time is free to do other professional development. They can go and collaborate with other universities, they can collaborate with other speakers. And it's really hard nowadays to retain faculty because faculty want to move around, right? And how do you sort of do that? And there's been more and more pressure put on faculty. We are finding that they're not only being asked to teach and teach more courses, but also asked to do more research. So they're finding that they're being burdened by the universities and they don't have enough time to do more things besides teaching and research. So instead of giving them a lot of pressure, we can alleviate pressure by having them sort of record a lot of their sessions beforehand, so that it frees up their time to in their own professional development, in their own research, in their own sort of growth, personal growth. And also, once you can sort of use video effectively to reduce facilities cost. As we all know, some universities are as big as smaller cities. They're huge. We have 4 campuses in the Vancouver area, and they're not being used all the time, especially during the summer months. They're sitting idle. And so how do you sort of, get the most out of that? So, and video is one way to address that if you do it effectively again. And video traffic is definitely growing. It has definitely grown the last 5 years, given all the exponential growth of the mobile and tablet devices. And we're going to see more and more of this as the time goes along. And that means, it is going to add extra pressures on the IT infrastructure, be it, your networks, be it your data storage. It is going to be quite expensive down the road to sort of manage the video traffic that is going across. I just have a quick little video to show. I'm sure you all must have seen this.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the the Great Depression, passed the a tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which raised or lowered, raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects? It did not work, and the United States sank deeper into the Great Depression. Today, we have a similar debate over this. Anyone know what this is, class? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone seen this before? The Laffer curve. Anyone know what this says? It says that at this point on the revenue curve, you will get exactly
So
the same
you get
amount
the
of
idea.
revenue as it.
So students today, they're very comfortable with technology. They're kind of born with it. Today, I think, looking at some of the young kids, technology is pretty much extension of their lives. Um, my 3-year-old nephew in London, he knows how to operate a smartphone, and he can do it quite well. Like I was there last year, and he uses his dad's Android phone, and he can play videos, he can watch games, he can play games, he can watch movies, he can watch pictures, he can do a lot of things. And the funny thing was, I gave him my iPad. He hadn't seen a tablet before, and I sat down next to him and I said, here's what you need to do. He literally pushed me aside. He said, no, like I got this. And he knew by looking at it, at the interface, that he can click on things and something will appear, something will happen, something will make him wonder even more. So this is the future. I mean, think of these kids coming into universities 15 to 20 years from now. How can we engage them? How can we sort of leverage their experience with technology? I don't think they can be separated from their devices. They're just too glued to the devices. And in 15 years from now, I can't even imagine what other devices will be there. I mean, you're talking about Google Glasses and smartwatches and whatnot, and I mean, it's going to be just amazingly crazy. So yeah, they're always in that always-on environment these days. They're very connected, the younger generation, and they can do a lot of things quite quickly, and they can multitask very efficiently. And how can we sort of leverage that? I think you have to sort of create new set of exercises in the classroom, new set of ways to sort of reach them. And I think that is where the power of the video lies. I think that's where you can sort of engage them in a variety of ways through video. Not only have them watch video, but also having them to create video, and also having them to collaborate with video. So, and I was at this session yesterday where the YouTube presenters were talking about the exponential growth of YouTube, and they were saying, they said the key thing. They said, don't just create video for the sake of creating video. Create video if it has a meaning. Create video if it's going to be watched. Same thing applies in the academic arena. Don't just create video for the sake of creating video. Don't just record a lecture and put it up there, because nobody's going to watch it. It's just going to be just as boring. We need to think about having to produce videos. That's something hasn't happened in the academic circles. We don't think about how to professionally create videos for that, so that its reach is actually effective, so that people can actually get value out of that video. So we have to sort of think about it in that terms. How can a video we create in the classroom can have an impact on a student's learning ability, or have them be more engaged, right? And as I mentioned earlier, so yeah, and smaller chunks is a key. Nobody wants to watch a 30-minute video. Nobody wants to watch an hour-long lecture. One thing that I found with my nephew, he can't really concentrate on any activity more than 10 minutes. He's on an iPad for 10 minutes. Next thing, he wants to run out there, play with basketball, come back again, watch TV for 10 minutes. It's really hard for them to focus on one thing for long periods of time. And we have to sort of be cognizant of that fact in schools. How can we leverage that? How can we sort of create activities that are smaller in chunks and have them to sort of learn at the same time? And there are a lot of benefits of having video. I mean, I don't want to read through this list, but it definitely helps them to create more interest. It focuses attention. It makes learning fun, and it also makes them collaborate with other students on various projects. There was this one case study. I don't want to go into detail, but they used University of West Texas, A&M. they use video effectively in their environment that they were able to increase the student body by 2,000 within 3 years. So it is considered one of the most video-enabled institutions in the US. And this is a good example that, if you use video effectively, it can have an impact on, your student body, and you can monetize a lot of ways. Again, some more studies showing that that the use of video leads to more retention of information. Students retain more if they watch a video because they can always, go back, rewind, play. So instead of, a lecture like what I'm telling you right now, you can replay. You can replay the stuff over and over again, and video allows you to do that. So this is quite good, interesting one. Anyone heard of MOOCs here? Yeah. So this is becoming more and more popular. It was pioneered by Salman Khan of the Khan Academy, where he created a whole bunch of videos for his nephews and nieces as they were having some hard time with some math problems. He himself was a hedge fund manager, and he created these videos because they were not in the same town, and he sent them these videos, and they loved it, and they really learned a lot more from the way he was showing them how to do some math problems and how to do them properly. And so his nephew asked him, "Why don't you put him on the YouTube?" And he said, "No, this is not just for you. Just have fun with it." And next thing you know, he was convinced, and now it has gone into becoming one of the most admired websites on the internet called the Khan Academy. And you can learn. There are a lot of free videos that you can learn from. It's not just math problems, but you can learn like biology, physics, a whole bunch of other things, including hedge funds, if you want to sort of learn what they are and what they do. I know one teacher in Canada who's actually using videos from Khan Academy as part of her day-to-day teaching. So she is instead of teaching the way I'm teaching right now, so she's getting students to watch those videos and then coming back and sort of discussing those videos in class, and then they can sort of build on that. So that is also, it's quite good to see the way this has evolved, the way this has sort of is taking place, and you're starting to see. Initially, MOOC started as like a free version, so a lot of universities offer like free MOOC, where anyone could sign up for a course in some introductory level. It was a non-credit course, so you had a whole bunch of videos there, and you had a whole bunch of discussion there. You could sign up, and it was self-paced, self-taught, whatever you want to do with it. But now we're starting to see more and more universities offer like credit-bearing MOOCs, and they're actually having paid MOOC. I'm going to talk about them a little later. Why is it important? Video, and because video is heart of the MOOC. It would not be a MOOC if there was no video as part of it. Nobody wants to learn by reading text online. People want to learn because they like to visualize, what the speaker is saying, what they're showing, what they're trying to demonstrate in class. So it is still in very early phases. So people are still trying to figure out how to sort of deliver it more efficiently and effectively. And yeah, again, think of it as an extension, not a replacement of your traditional education. I think traditional education is still going to be there, but there are going to be new ways to deliver education, new ways to sort of learn from different topics, right? So, and this is why it's most important, because it was coined by a Canadian. So there was one example here where there's a company called Udemy, and they're offering a course like how to become a web developer, and it's only $200, and you get 220 video lectures divided into various 8 chapters along with a lot of subtopics and a lot of different things. So that sort of shows the commitment that the MOOCs are sort of starting to bring about now, and they're also now challenging the traditional universities. These private companies are now sort of offering the same type of courses that a university would normally be offering. So that's kind of, something new competition that came out of nowhere, and which is getting more and more popular. So this was just announced last week. Georgia Tech announced a MOOC-based computer science degree, a master's program, and the cost is very low. It's very, nominal when it comes to like a 2-year master's program. Main thing for them is, they can hire just one professor and for every 100 students instead of having one for every 10 to 20 students. So this is quite interesting take on it. I think we're going to see more and more universities offer MOOC type of programs because the reach, you can reach hundreds and thousands of students at one point. And then you don't have to sort of invest heavily into hiring more faculty or expanding your facilities on campus because it's all delivered online. And that's the beauty of a MOOC. So. This is another interesting example. We have actually a couple of people in my department who are taking this program, the online version of it. It's not just about like people who want to do like formal education, but people who are already working, who are already professionals who want to just go and learn more new things to support their daily jobs. So this program really, this is also delivered online. And the cost is roughly half if you do it online versus on campus, plus all your accommodation, traveling costs. And you get this roughly the same type of experience. You have videos, you can access, you have email access to the instructor, and you can do it self-paced. So we're seeing more and more universities also adopt this type of programs. So they will be offering newer type of credentials, newer type of ways to sort of, curriculum-based learning. So this is quite, another interesting example. Like I mentioned before, simply by recording a lecture doesn't equal an online course. So you got to put some thought into it. You have to sort of, understand why are we doing this, and what value can students expect out of it. I think from like your point of view, like if you were watching something online, what value do you want to gain out of that? So put yourself in shoes of your viewers, your students, and see what value are they going to perceive out of watching the video. So and video is just like one part of the solution. It is not the solution. So you still need to have an organized structure to the course. You still need to have an organized topics, and I think the discussion is very important. Nowadays, the Facebook generation, as they call, they love to like collaborate online. I mean, be it Twitter, Facebook, they're always sharing ideas, they're always sharing comments, and how can you sort of bring that into the overall experience? I think that is also a key to enable learning. Recruitment is another great way to sort of cut down costs and also to reach out for promotional activities. Many students, like I said, in my example, like I watched those videos before making my decision. Like, I wanted to see what the campus looked like. I wanted to see what the faculty kind of was doing over there, what kind of research they were engaging in. And I think that also factors in their decision to choose your university or not. If they can get a feel of what they're getting into, what they're sort of experiencing, I think it is going to sort of increase chances of them applying into your school. At BCIT, we hold various information sessions for various programs, be it School of Business, School of Computing, School of Health. So they usually take place in the evenings where you have a member of a student body, like a current student, alumni, faculty, and people from the admissions area. So they all get together and sort of discuss a program, discuss what kind of requirements there are, what kind of course load to expect. And students talk about their own experience, and alumni talk about whether they got jobs post complete the program and everything. And and we recently started streaming them online, and this is kind of the experience that they see. They see a video, which is kind of mixed with PowerPoint and a person talking, and plus you have the ability to ask questions at the bottom. So you have somebody from the admissions area monitoring the incoming questions. So the idea is to create same experience as they would be as if they were in the room. So they can not only watch the video, not only watch the PowerPoint, but also ask the questions and also engage in discussion with other students or the admissions area. So this is one way to sort of reach out, like I mentioned before, to students who can't make it to campus for a variety of reasons, and also reach out to students who are not in the same geographic area. And it has been quite successful. Like we noticed, quite a bit of accolades from it, and including from the School of Computing. One program I said that they noticed an improvement in the application quality since we started doing live streaming of the information sessions for their programs. And students were also quite happy. They didn't have to drive for whatever reason, or if they were not in the area, if they had some other commitments during the evenings, or they couldn't make it. So they appreciated that, and that also helped them make the decision better. And we're also noticing nowadays that a lot more interviews are being done online through video conferencing. I have a couple of friends who are taking a look at MBA programs, and their first interviews are done over Skype. So they don't have to fly to the university. They don't have to spend a lot of time. And this way, he gets to see what their requirements are, and the school gets to see what kind of student is going to be coming in. In one case, I think it was Yale, if I recall correctly, in which he had to record his video. He was given 10 minutes to give responses to 3 questions. He had 3 minutes each, and he'd record responses in video format and upload them to their site. And based on that, you go on to the next step. So there are a variety of ways that you can use video to attract and recruit students. Especially right now, business schools tend to be on the leading edge of this. So they are the ones who are kind of engaging these type of activities, simply because they have thousands of applications coming in. So they want to reduce the cost of administrating the application, reaching out to thousands of students all at once. So they are trying out to various ways to save time and cost through video in terms of recruitment. Guest speakers is another area that's often overlooked. A lot of universities, are able to attract distinguished speakers just because, given their reputation, given their branding. We get a lot of guest speakers who speak not only to our student body, but also to faculty and staff on various programs like professional development or academic insights. But there's not many monetization opportunities that university realize. There can be. You can open those events up to public, and you can have a fee-based programs, be it a year-long subscription or just an event-based. So you can open up. Let's say if Bill Clinton's coming to your campus to speak about something, and you can easily open up to public, and have have it open to public, and they can sort of also watch. I mean, I love to watch Bill Clinton speak one day, and this is one way to sort of reach out to that through the use of video. And we are starting more and more technical improvements. This is one example where I think it was Cisco who was kind of pioneering this type of technology. Where it feels like it feels as close to the real environment it can get. The person who's on the other side, he can see the same room on his end, and so it feels like I'm talking to everyone in the room, and instead I'm talking to a video, and I can see the way the room is laid out. I can see who's sitting where. I can see who's raising their hand to ask a question. And this is a good example to bring in guest speakers, bring in some distinguished speakers, and have them sort of give a lecture, give a talk at a university. Queen's University, in their MBA program, they're using somewhat of a similar program, where they have their main base is in Toronto in Canada, but they have centers in various parts of Canada also. So they meet up, they all sort of get together in this one location in Vancouver, Toronto, and I believe in Halifax. And they use video conferencing to sort of engage with the whole class. So for 3 days, they're in this room, and it feels like they're actually sitting in their own MBA classroom, but they're not in the same geographic location. So they can ask questions, they can engage in dialogue, they can engage in a lot of different discussions. And that's as close as possible they can get without having to travel all that much. So There are certainly some limitations. Uh, some faculty at BCIT, they have sort of, they also have said the same thing, that, they want to sort of include video as part of their courses, but they don't know where to even begin. They don't even know where to even start. There is no online video library for their content. There's no online way to sort of go and, access, a lot of different material that's out there. There's a lot of electronic databases when it comes to, like, finding articles and finding, like, research papers and everything, but there isn't really a lot of repositories that sort of target, videos, especially to be used in the in your academic setting. So there's still going to be some challenges. There's still going to be some areas of, you will see more and more growth happening. And right now, we are actually involved in a project right now at BCIT where we are trying to sort of catalog the video that we have so far. It's all over the place. We have videos in various formats. So we are trying to bring everything into one centralized repository, and at least have it, be able to, like, have it searchable and catalog, so that if faculty wanted to, they could easily embed the video in their own content when they wanted to. So this is a project that we just started last month, and given how things progress in the academic area, I think it'll be done in the next 2 years or so. So just to summarize, engagement is very important. You cannot really, these days, the way things are progressing, it's really hard. It's getting harder to engage students via just your traditional lecture format. So you need to sort of come out and, try new things, be it video, be it other ways. We're also noticing that video gaming technology is also becoming more popular. How do you engage students that can be more interactive, right? That's also getting more and more popular. And you're going to see more novel ways of, reaching out to your student body. So, and MOOCs, yeah, you can start with free MOOCs, but you can definitely, upsell the students to, like, other courses, or even create, more paid MOOCs, like as Georgia Tech has done. And yeah, guest lecture and student recruitment, definitely a lot of opportunities there. But before you go out and, start spending, money and, all the infrastructure and everything, you have to take a step back and understand what is it that you want to do, what's the value you want to sort of get out of it. So there's a lot of, one thing that we have found is, there's a lot of uncoordinated video user on campus. So people are using videos in a variety of ways. So we have to first sort of catalog that, why are they using it, what are they using it for, and, how can we sort of, bring everything together under one roof. And look at the use cases, which factors are we using them in? Are we using it for recruitment? Are we using them in for academic, or is it just for, like, strictly town halls? Like, you will find, various ways the videos are being used around campus. And look at the technologies that's already exists on campus. One thing we have found at BCIT is, like, we, because there's always a one-off funding for something, and, some department goes out and buys their own video infrastructure or their own software, their own hosting platform. And there's a whole bunch of, investment that is taking place all over the place. So how can you leverage that? How can you sort of make that and use it for your own benefit? And if once you sort of have an idea of, how video is being used, what technologies are on campus, and how can you actually maximize its use, it should be really then incorporated into the campus roadmap. That's one thing that's not being done currently. Video is not being given a lot of prominence by the IT and their CIOs, but it needs to be, especially given the fact that it is going to be very taxing on the infrastructure. It is going to be very heavy on the not only on the delivery side, but also on the storage side. And what are the opportunities there? How can you sort of leverage that? And yeah, collaboration is the key. I think people need to talk to each other on campus. There's not a lot of collaboration that goes on campuses, but that could definitely solve a lot of the issues that universities face. So that's all I have, and if you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Mm-hmm.
So at BCIT, when you first started doing live streaming, like what was the business case for it? Who came to who?
It was actually, we first started doing it, we experimented it back in 2002. That was the first live stream we did, and that was to reach out to students. It was a marketing initiative. They felt there was a need that a lot of students couldn't come to we had this thing called Big Info Session, where they put on this massive open house for students. But there were a lot of complaints that they couldn't make it on campus, so we live streamed that event, and we also had like one person from the admissions area who was answering questions as they were coming in. So we did that for a few times, and it didn't really get a lot of traction. There was sometimes we only had like less than 10 people watching it, the stream and everything. Then it really got shelved for like in the next 5-6 years. And then 2009, we had more and more demand from the executives who wanted to get their message out, via time. They were already having town halls. And because BCIT had 4 campuses, not everyone could come to his town halls at all the time. And plus, we also had a lot of satellite campuses, and we had, I think, 10, 20 of them all over British Columbia. So that was the business case. They really wanted it, and because there was a lot of concern with the employees that there's not a lot of engagement at that level. There's not a communication at that level. So when it comes to every 3 years, there's a review of this student employee review that goes out. So there were a lot of people sort of concerned the level of engagement that the executives are sort of doing, and so that really came on board. So now we not only have the president's forum that happens every quarter, but also a vice president who wants to sort of do an update on various topics that they have. So once that started, again, marketing is on board, and now we have conferences, we have academics, it's all over the map now. But that kind of started it.
Business drivers is reducing faculty costs.
Mm-hmm.
You get buy-in from someone who sees this potentially as a threat.
Yeah, and that is something that is like a concern. Like we have some faculty that don't even turn on the computers that we give them. The computers that sit on their desk for like 3 years, they go back because in the lease program, and they go back, they're not even open, right? So it's really hard to sort of convince them, but I think you have to show them. I think you have to show the value. You have to sort of give them examples, where this is being used more effectively and what results it has achieved. How can you leverage what you have already done for the last 30 years? Because that's the key. Like some faculty who are be teaching for the last 30, 40 years, they don't want to change now. They don't want to adopt new technology now. They are just like, we are fine the way we teach. We are fine the way we are sort of, operating our business. And they leave us alone, and it's really hard sometimes to sort of, get past that. But I think once you show them, once you give them examples, and you sit down with them, and and show them, hey, look at the value, right? Look at the value that you can get from this. And we have like some faculty that that have been teaching for that long, and who can't wait to sort of do all that, and who are like even though they don't understand it properly. But they know that there needs to be some change. There needs to be some level of new engagement, because sitting in the room, they can tell that the students aren't being engaged. Nowadays it's easy to if you're sitting in a lecture, you can easily take out your smartphone and start texting or do whatever you want to do, and faculty see that. And some faculty are sort of noticing that hey, my lecture is obviously boring because nobody's paying attention, and everyone is sort of doing their own thing, and how do you sort of get past that? So I think it really has to hit them hard when they're sort of teaching, and if they're finding that people aren't engaged, like we saw in the video of Ferris Bueller's, and nobody paid attention, nobody was engaged, So, any other questions?
I guess I have another question.
Sure.
The Georgia Tech through Udacity, one teacher for hundreds of students, is that program still running? And has Has anyone published reports or white papers on the efficacy of that system?
They just announced it last week, so I don't think they have even started the program yet. So I'm curious myself how they're going to actually pull it off. Obviously, it seems very ambitious, their plans, but it remains to be seen, what level of engagement kind of it brings about. One thing with MOOCs is that, you have like hundreds and thousands, even million students per class, but I think barely 30 to 40% actually complete it. So that's the key thing with MOOCs right now. You can easily attract like thousands of students around the world, but are they actually going to sort of complete it? So, and I think being free right now, a lot of the MOOCs, I think there's not a lot of personal investment in that because they haven't really paid for it. But I think once you start paying for it, once you start to sort of see that I'm investing my money in, you will see some results. But yeah, in the case of Georgia Tech, I'm curious myself, what they do with it. And I'm sure like other universities will have similar type of programs soon, right? They want to sort of embark on this technology and start on it soon. So yeah.
So is the project that you have of digitizing the library of old videos,
Mm-hmm.
what are you using to hold everything that's been digitized and so that it's searchable and everything?
Well, right now we are in the evaluation phase, so we're looking at a whole bunch of software platforms that we can use. There's a platform by Adobe called DAM, Digital Asset Management, that allows you to upload everything into their system and have it cataloged and tagged in various ways, and have it searchable so that people can go in and and take the video out and embed it in the programs. And there's a whole bunch of other solutions that we're looking at. So kind of similar with similar kind of feel of it. So yeah.
How are you handling copyright issues with digitizing an entire library or a body of work?
Yeah.
There's a lot of rules that go along with that.
Yeah, we're not taking in anything that was produced externally to BCID. We're only trying to digitize stuff that we produce.
Okay.
So we're not looking at anything that external and just put it in our library kind of thing, because over the years there has been a lot of videos that have been produced in our environment. So be it like a faculty demonstration or some other guest speaker demonstration. So we're just trying to capture a lot of that, and those are like 100,000 videos that we have. We have no idea like how to sort of catalog them properly, right? So
There's a set of rules that we follow. We do about 10,000 hours a year in Northern State.
yeah,
And we have instructors playing videos in class and stuff. There is a set of rules to get around that.
yeah.
But you can't just take a video off the shelf, encode it, and put it up online.
No, and especially when it comes to like guest speakers, we have like when we do live streaming of those,
Get a release or something.
release something, or sometimes they say you can live stream it, but you can't record it, and you can't upload it, you can't share it. So there's a lot of and everyone is different, right? And we had one case where we were doing an info session. We had a panel of students talking about the experience and everything, and one student said, "I don't want to be on the camera." So like how do you get around that? You have 5 students, and one of them doesn't want to be on camera, and you kind of have to sort of move around. And he also said, once you produce your video, you want to put it up, cut my part out. So yeah, like every use case is different, right? And in a lot of cases, we do have to get a disclosure. We have to get a sign off from especially students and external speakers, so they're okay with giving us permission to reuse the content later on or not.
I think in some cases we've included it even when the student registers as a freshman. You sign a statement that says we can use your image for marketing or whatever we need, so.
Oh really? Oh wow, that's interesting.
That's
Yeah.
right away when they.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then if there becomes an issue, then.
Yeah.
It's so big.
Yeah. Yeah.
The high school does that too for my kids.
What's that?
The high school that my kids go to, I had to sign something.
Yes.
Oh wow.
We do that.
Yeah.
Thing in high school, yeah.
Yeah, Center for Statewide E-Learning, where I come from, we teach almost 1,200 students A, B, and CB courses, and that's part of the agreement when the school signs up for those courses. They sign a sheet that says their image is ours,
Yeah.
within reason. I mean,
Of course. Yeah.
just make it into something that it's not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that is quite interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, you can have that disclosures right up front rather than having them to like struggle along. And that's what we have to do because there's no policy at the registration level. So we're kind of struggling every time when we have these events, especially when it comes to students and external speakers. So we're always like rushing around and, emailing them the PDF that they have to sign and, sort of send it back to us. And so that, we can sort of, cover our bases with it. So yeah, but that's a good point. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Any other questions?